I mean, are we ready for that?
All right, so now we have our mystery guest on the line.
Did you get him on the line? And
we have our guest on the line.
Well, good morning, guest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
okay.
See,
all right, so let me give you your clue one more time, since our guest didn't hear it.
Here we go.
When teams need late scores, they sometimes try a long bomb. A member of our crew admires a guy named Tom. While our caller has been based in the Northeast, recent news reports indicate our caller will be starting the regular season for the first time in the Sunshine State. So there you go, gentlemen. 10 yes or no questions.
Oh, it's just yes or no?
Yeah.
It's just yes or no.
Oh, that's not...
Otherwise, you just say, what's your name? And then it's over.
Yeah.
That's really not fun for anybody.
Well,
Okay, caller, do you know anything about film editing?
Yeah.
yes.
How about that first
Good
question
job.
right off the bat?
Yeah.
Huh? You guys want to play games?
So you know who it is?
Oh, no, I'm just taking a good... You guys don't have any other questions?
Well, film editing. Are you from Lincoln?
No.
No.
He said no.
No.
Well, that's all I got.
I caught an accent there, too.
Well, there was an accent.
Yeah.
It sounded kind of like Pak the Cot, Harvard Yard.
No.
Whatever that was.
Film editing, not from Lincoln, and Lloyd obviously knows him.
Do you have a nickname?
Here's mine.
Yeah.
Here's mine. Call it an answer.
What the hell kind of question is that, Joe? I mean, that's everybody has.
nickname?
Oh, no.
You've asked 3 already, so you got 7 left.
I was going to say,
I'm the only one. Okay, Jake, ask something. Ask him what color his eyes are or something. Do something.
yeah, do something here.
Okay, he's not from Illinois.
Not from Illinois.
No, he says
he's,
not from Lincoln.
Lincoln.
He said
Okay.
he's not from
I don't know the film editing question. What's that got to do
How
with
did you?
anything?
I mean, that was the number one question you asked. How do you know that?
Is your favorite color red?
Say it again.
Is your favorite color red?
No.
Okay. Anything else? You guys got some more questions? Come on.
This is someone related to the field of sports, so maybe. And you had a clue there with some clues
With
within
your
a
red
poem.
herrings?
With some red herrings
With
in
some
there.
red herrings.
Do you work for a news station?
Technically, no.
Have you played professional sports?
No.
Do you know personally Lloyd Kirby?
Yes.
Okay.
How many was that?
You have asked 7. You got 3 left.
So he obviously knows Lloyd. So he's also has a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
Are you involved with Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Figured. He said opening.
Okay.
Or he said regular season.
That pushed me up.
Okay.
What's number 8?
So he probably went from the Phillies to somebody in
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Who are some
Tampa
of
Bay
the
or Florida.
Who are some of the Philly broadcasters?
named Tom.
No, it don't have to be Tom. That was to throw us off.
Yeah. Now, I think who I had it down was...
Are you well known through the sports world?
Yeah.
So he's unsure if he's
That was a good answer.
That's your 9th question, so you got 1 left. And then you got to make your guesses.
Well, you could give us 20 more, Lloyd, and we're not going to know.
Well-
I mean,
Well, there was a clue in there about usually based in the Northeast,
Right.
but this time, for the first time, he might start the season in the Sunshine State.
but that could be like 20 teams if
it
it's
could be.
split up between Arizona and Florida like they're wanting to do.
So you think it's baseball? I mean, there's other sports going on. And there was a pretty famous guy that went from the Northeast down to Florida.
But it's not Tom Brady.
It's not Tom McCarthy.
There's no way in heck we're going to have Tom Brady call this show. or there's no way that Tom Brady's given us his number to call him. And that was just a little throw to Joe
Gazelle
to get his
us.
hopes up.
You got one more guess. Or one more question.
Boy, this is tough.
This is tough. And it's only... Are we going to do this more often?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, does anybody have a good question?
This is week 1.
This is your last
we
question.
need the winning
Make it a good
question
one.
right here.
Our guest probably does have other things to do, so speed
we're
it
going to
up.
let him go. Hope we're not paying him by the
Sorry. We're not.
Would you have you been to Lincoln recently? How about that question?
No.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I
That's
should have been.
10.
Have you ever been to Lincoln?
Who are your final guesses?
Tom McCarthy.
Joseph?
Josh Jordan.
Scotty?
Mike Schmidt.
Thanks, man.
He never played professionally.
All right, caller, will you tell us who you are, please?
Well, somebody got it right. I am Tom McCarthy,
That's awesome.
and I don't have a whole lot going on.
That's obviously neither do we.
Nice job. He pulled that up on the internet. Nice work.
Pulled
nice
up,
work
Tom.
on you, Jake.
Well, I thought I'd heard the voice before.
Yeah.
Once he said a few words.
Yeah, I was going to ask a
Sound a little
question.
more
Have our
familiar.
listeners ever heard you on the cheap seats before? Which he
Yes.
would have said yes, because cue Jim
I
Ash
can't
at
find that, but
So are we going to
what
give the
does
IGA card
What
to
does a
Tom?
sports guy talk about right now this time of year? Are you filing for the unemployment? What's going on with you?
No, I mean, I've been keeping busy. Today we have a simulated game that's going to be on NBC Sports Philadelphia that we did the other day. It's a Phillies Brewers game where it's MLB The Show, and John Kruk was my partner that day.
That's
It's the second one we've done. So that we did that this week. We're doing one of those a week, and I'm doing a bunch of interviews for the Phillies YouTube channel, 10 Minutes with T-Mac. So I've done a bunch of those already, and they're running every night at like 5 o'clock. They just start to pop up on the Phillies YouTube channel, and that's been fun. I mean, that's been fun. A lot of other stuff, like you guys, probably the same thing. It's a lot of family time. I think things are a little different here in the Northeast than they probably are in the Midwest and even beyond. We are, I guess you would call, I'm an hour south of the epicenter, which is New York. So our restrictions are a little thicker than what you guys might have right now and what some other folks might have, just because of where we're located.
So what's the buzz around a lot of the sportscasters with the proposal for baseball starting next month? Is that something that's a legit concern, or is it just kind of talk right now?
Well, I think it's just talk right now. I do think that they've talked more than they've kind of let on. I do think that if there is baseball, it's probably going to be the way that they've kind of laid it out. It's probably going to be, the Arizona teams in Arizona and the Florida teams in Florida. So, and I think we'll be sequestered to our spring training facilities. And I don't know how they'll do it. I know there'll be a lot of testing. There probably has to be a lot of testing to make sure that we're all, on the up and up. So I think that it's probably close to what you guys are reading. I think it's the same stuff that we're hearing. We're not hearing anything that's even broader than that, but I do think they're going to try to get sports going, kind of like they're doing in Asia right now, in Taiwan and South Korea, and eventually doing in Japan, is to play in front of nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's not just the players. I mean, it's amazing how many people have to be at a baseball game to get it actually to work, So a lot of testing there besides fans.
That's exactly right. Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, we have, our crew, and the radio team has their crew. You have the writers. And I'm sure early on there are going to be more people that are going to want to cover the teams that maybe necessarily don't cover them. Yeah. I think that's part of it too. My thought would be that it might be limited down in spring training, but I don't know how they'll handle it. I think there'll be some people that might not be happy about it, the way things are, the way things are structured. But I do think in the long term, for the fans, it might be nice to have something live to watch. And even though I think a lot of the retro games have been great, I really do. I think it might be nice to have something to watch.
Fun to watch.
Yep.
Because you forget about them, and then all of a sudden, since you don't have anything else to watch, you turn those on, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You guys made a big signing out there with Bryce Harper. Is he a crowd favorite?
Yeah, he's been great. People want to, lean on the fact that the Nationals won the World Championship last year without him, but they probably would have won that championship even easier with him. But from our standpoint, he's been fantastic, and the fans love him, and he's embraced every bit of him. There's kind of a workman-like attitude here in Philadelphia, a blue-collar attitude, and he has embraced that. He's invigorated it. He's adapted really well.
You pop over to many Eagles games?
Well, I don't get to as much because partly because I'm usually doing an NFL game on CBS or Westwood One. A lot of times I'll get there on Monday night because usually I'm not doing a game on Monday night. Sometimes I'll fill in on Westwood on Thursday night and Sunday night, so it's harder for me to get to those games. But yeah, I get there every once in a while. It's a great atmosphere. We're fortunate here in Philadelphia because all three facilities are in one general area. So, in the parking lot. So it's kind of cool to have everything in that area, particularly when there's more than one event going on.
I was going to say, it's the fun times when you got a couple events going on and the tailgate and all that good stuff out there.
There's always a great buzz when that stuff happens.
Is Dr. J still around out there?
Yeah, in fact, I just saw. I think I could be wrong. I think he's living in Orlando, but I just watched the video with him the other day. So yeah, he's around. He's in the city every once in a while.
Yeah, that guy was the king. He was the first Michael Jordan, wasn't he?
He's the first Dr. J.
I remember going to a Net game when he was playing there. I was young, but yeah, he was great. He was probably the original Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that guy was fun to watch, and what a cool nickname.
It cracks me up nowadays. I know we're spinning on the basketball a little bit, but how they talk about some of the greatest players of all time, and it's like Dr. J gets walked right over. Nobody brings him up, and it's amazing. If you're picking your starting five of all time, you can leave LeBron off and put Dr. J on, and I don't think your team's going to be suffering.
Well, didn't the doctor grab that?
Amazing.
I think you could probably do that with the top 10 players, honestly. I do think LeBron and Michael Jordan are shoo-ins. I think that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a shoo-in, but I think then there's that debate for the next two. Is it Magic Johnson?
Yep.
Is it, somebody from, Oscar Robertson? Is it somebody from back in the day? But I think the top 10, I think you'd be hard-pressed to have any kind of bad team if you list the top 10 players, but you have to pick your starting five from them.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the doctor grabbed that red, white, and blue ball and went from the free throw line and dunked?
Yeah. I had one of those red, white, and blue balls.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing, watching it. If you spun it properly, watching it go through the net.
It was the coolest thing. They need to bring that back. You should work on that. You've got a little pole.
I got one in my garage. I don't think it's blue and white. It's not red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
it's blue and white.
Blue and white, yeah. Yeah, we need to bring that back. We're going to let you work on that.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you,
on your downtime.
we don't have any pull here. Yeah. We're not going to get it done.
Hey, real quick, what's your biggest career highlight or most memorable game that you've called?
I think it's probably Roy Halladay's perfect game. To me, it was a great night. The issue was there was really not as many people in the stands as you would have liked in Miami, but that was probably the one. I have scorecards up on my wall. I don't have a lot of memorabilia, but I have that one. I have Cole Hamels no-hitter that I called. I have Tom Glavine 300th win because I was with the Mets for a couple of years. And they've all signed it, which is kind of neat. When I did Princeton basketball for 9 years, and the first year I did it was Pete Carrill's last year as the head coach, and they upset UCLA in Indianapolis in the first round of the opening in the tournament. And that is, I mean, that to me is one of the greatest things in the world. I mean,
that was awesome.
That's got to be in my top 5, my top 10 of great moments that I've had a chance to call.
Now, did you call the Chris Carpenter and Doc Holliday game?
I did. I called it on radio.
And that's not one of the best.
Was one of those, that was one of those where Raul Ibanez got a hold of one that in any other night would have gone out of the short porch in right field at Citizens Bank Park, and it just died. It literally just died.
Yep, and that was the last ball that had a chance.
That was the last. Yeah, that first inning when the triple occurred, we're like, man, the ball's flying. And it didn't fly after that. That was it.
That was it. Some good defensive play. That was a great game. For us Cardinal fans over here in the Midwest, it was a great game.
To me, the key to that whole series was the 6-0 lead that Cliff Lee had, where he wasn't able to finish that off. That set up the final game, honestly.
Yep.
Lloyd, you want to jump on here? I mean, you're the Philly guy.
I'm just listening to you guys. I gave you.
Well, when we're just a small Central Illinois radio station. We have a sports show Saturday mornings. So when Lloyd told us that we had a caller, my thoughts were, I mean, I guess we have to.
We thought it was somebody that we knew.
Local. I mean, we don't. I mean, you're top 5 caller on this show, easy.
We don't know what you're getting paid for this, but it's not enough.
I don't know. And Jim doesn't throw out money. Our boss here at the station. So
I appreciate that.
I don't know how. In the mail. I don't know how Lloyd convinced you to do this, but I guess we need to expand our thinking when it comes to this new segment we're doing here, guys. And I don't know how he's going to top this. I mean.
I was a little disappointed, Tom, though, when you were mentioning your career highlights, because I think we do have one that I think would have to be a career highlight.
This is Tom McCarthy for the Philadelphia Phillies, and you're listening to Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM with Joe, Jake, and Shabadoo.
And Tom, we're going to ask you when you're done to stay on the air, because we're going to redo that, because this is Shabadoo.
You don't touch that dial. No, we love Shabadoo.
Yeah, we got to get that changed.
That's funny.
And I'm sure Lloyd told you the backstory, but I know you got things you have to do today on a Saturday morning. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll have baseball soon.
Yeah, you guys stay safe too. Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed, and maybe sometime in the very near future we'll get a chance to call a little ball. So thank you.
All right.
Thanks for giving us a call. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
you got it, guys. Be well.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
Wow, nice job.
I mean, you outdid yourself when you said that we're having somebody call. We have to guess. I'm thinking a local guy that you know.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So with him going south, I was guessing it was because of the spring training.
Yeah,
and the games. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
that could be the season. It sounds like.
And his first name is Tom.
Yeah.
Tom.
Well, I got that.
The long bomb.
That was just
nothing.
Yeah, but he said the Tom.
What kind of hearing is that?
So he said the Tom, and then he said the Northeast down to Florida. So I got that. And then he said for the regular season. Well, normally with football, you don't call it the regular season.
Right.
So
good point.
Unless you're on the cheap seats.
That's where I was going with.
Or you call it opening season.
Yeah.
Opening season.
Wabbit
season.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we come back from our commercial break and we go into hats off, I think we're going to let you win that today.
Yeah, Lloyd, I mean, you probably should have saved
that. Comes with
if we're going to keep doing this, how are you going to top that?
I have some ideas.
Oh. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
I like the riddle at the beginning.
Yeah. And you know it had, I mean, just by the way he acted, you knew it had to be, it had to be, I mean, next level. It wasn't going to be some
he looked
Joe
like he was at the theater with a box of chuckles.
Did you see him grab that mic when it was time?
Oh, yeah.
And then when Jim couldn't figure out how to call him, did you see how nervous he got?
Real quick,
give me that phone.
What is this?
Did you see this? agenda?
So you guys would know.
It would have been nice to have this before.
Well, no, then you would have known who it was.
The thing is, I knew his first name. I couldn't remember his middle name.
I had no idea.
He's got one of the better baseball announcing voices in the game right now.
He's excellent.
I think so.
And
he does NCAA basketball.
I'd say he's in the
NFL.
top 5 probably for announcers.
Certainly the best play-by-play announcer that's called this show.
I think he's
today.
better than Joe Buck.
Number 1.
All right, let's take a commercial break. We'll come.
Way better than Joe
Yeah,
Buck.
when we come back, we'll have more here on the Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM.